assured the public he would work to clean up or tear down dangerous, dilapidated homes.
But more than a year after Walsenburg City Administrator Greg Sund made that comment on camera, homeowners tell us that promise was broken.
Tonight, Chief Investigative Reporter Eric Ross is asking city leaders, where's the progress they promised?
Homeowners say condemned houses are not only an eyesore, they're concerned about neighborhood property values declining. After all, how would you like to live next to this? A home with walls caving in and a missing roof. We're talking about properties the city says are so unsafe, people shouldn't be living inside them. But that's not what city records show. It was October 2020 when I sat down with Walsenburg Administrator Greg Sund to talk about multiple condemned properties the city, through its own admission, was turning a blind eye to. We found 24 houses, some on the city's condemnation list for several years, just sitting there. No progress, no improvements. At the time, Sund said he had a plan to launch a program to get distressed properties either torn down and rebuilt or rehabilitated. You're pretty confident that I shouldn't be revisiting this issue 6 months or a year from now. We're going to see some progress made.
Well, I would certainly hope we have it operating well before then. I don't want a program to just stall. I think it's important that you move forward, that you adopt what works for the community, and that you start achieving things. If you're not making any progress, the public will see that too.
But when it came time for a follow-up report on the city's progress, Sund had resigned from his position. So I eventually tracked down his replacement, DUSTIN STAMBAUGH. A year and a half ago, I sat down with the city administrator, who has since resigned. When I sat down with him, he assured us that they were going to make some progress on the condemnation list. Reviewing records today, it looks like there's been no progress done on that. Am I wrong?
I cannot deny that. January of 2020, it is my understanding that council stopped condemnations.
He says the previous mayor felt it was too expensive to try to rehab or demolish properties that city records show have partially collapsed and in some cases are occupied by transients. Some of these homes look like they're in really poor condition, whether it's no windows, a roof caving in, perhaps there was a fire a couple of years back, and there's people inside those homes. Let's say the roof were to collapse or the walls were to cave in and the city did absolutely nothing. Is there any risk and liability on the city's behalf?
Well, yeah. So it is a problem that we need to confront. The fact is that those were listed as condemnation properties at the point that when you talked to us. And that list has not changed. I can't deny that. But I continue to want to redirect to what we're doing now to show you that we are making progress.
STAMBAUGH says he's working on establishing a due process system for homeowners who have made zero progress. Part of that due process involves creating an appeals board to hear directly from those property owners.
One of the problems that we've had is we don't have an appeals board to be able to execute things like nuisances and violations. We can issue a violation to somebody and all they have to do is do an appeal, and if you don't have an appeals board, then it just sits there.
And while the task is being worked on, STAMBAUGH wanted to let the public know that they haven't just been sitting around doing nothing in the city administration building. He says behind the scenes, he's been working on prioritizing other urgent projects, like rebuilding the city's aging water treatment plant. He says when he took office a little more than a year ago, he entered a city with a lot of problems.
Over half of our vehicles were either not being used, broken down, not running, or needed maintenance of some kind.
He says progress is being made and he knows residents are watching.
We're just really wanting to, as citizens, voice our concerns to the city that, you know, it is a top priority of the citizens to clean up these blighted properties.
That was Charles Bryant, a homeowner when we last spoke with him on camera. He since ran for mayor and won. He wasn't available in person when we talked with STAMBAUGH, but we were able to catch up with him by phone.
The job of mayor is something that I certainly never expected to want to be involved in, but it just got to a point where it seemed like I wasn't being heard at the local level, through addressing my elected officials.
One of his campaign promises was to work on the city's condemnation list, and he believes STAMBAUGH is genuine about his intentions to fix city problems.
I am happy with Mr. STAMBAUGH's performance. He's actually been one of our longer serving administrators. I think he's done an exceptional job.
Why did you decide to sit down and do this interview?
I want to be honest because I want to share with people. I mean, we've got our problems, and I can't deny those, but I also want people to know what we're doing also.
When would you like me to follow up on this condemnation list and inquire about the progress you guys are promising to make?
Let's do 1 year. I think that's fair. Compared to where I started to where it is now is 100% better, and that's the direction we need to go. Are there problems and are there liabilities? Absolutely, and I'm not here to argue with you. But I also want to send the message that Walsenburg's moving forward. We are making a lot of improvements.
STAMBAUGH says he's also working to get employees properly trained and certified, something that was not enforced under the previous administration. He says the city also just received $500,000 in grant money for major water and sewer infrastructure improvements. And he reiterates that 1 year from now, we should see some major progress with the city's condemnation list. We'll, of course, keep you updated. And as always, we're here for you. If you have a problem or issue you'd like us to look into, send an email anytime to news5investigates@koaa.com. I'm Chief Investigative Reporter Eric Ross.